Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a great weekend. My name is Selene, and I'm excited to be here and be part of Qabalistic Tree 2025 with the Moonchild Goddess Temple. Today we're going to be talking about the Qabbalah, and well, I hope you enjoy this little presentation that I made. So let's start by asking, what is Qabbalah? Qabbalah is a tradition in Jewish esoteric teachings that was later integrated into Western Hermetic traditions such as the Binah or the Binah. Now, what we're talking about today is not that, okay? I'm not Jewish, so I don't feel comfortable talking about that mysticism. What we're talking about today is Kabbalah with a Q, which is the Western Kabbalah. This was featured a lot in Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy, and since then it has made its way to Western occultism and magic. The word in Hebrew means that which is received or receive wisdom. Why does Kabbalah matter? We can look at the Qabalistic Tree of Life as a roadmap to how energy flows. Whether you have studied this before or if this is a new concept to you, you have most likely used Kabbalistic correspondences, either creating rituals, using tarot, or performing magic. It can be as simple as choosing a particular color for a candle spell. Why does it matter too, and why did I wanted to bring this to the temple today? Because in my years of study the Kabbalah, I have yet to find a book written by a woman. I feel like Kabbalah is something that it's explained through a very male point of view. And by doing so, we're not talking about the divine feminine aspect that it is in the tree. So to me, it's important that more female voices talk about this subject. And I hope I can inspire you today to go and do your own research on this topic. Then we have the number 3. As we've been learning all this weekend, the 3 represents things like balance, harmony, and dynamic motion. It's found in many traditions, such as the Holy Trinity in Christianity, the 3 faiths in Greek. We have the Maiden Mother Crone. In Kabbalah, the number 3 appears in the Tree of Life as the 3 pillars, the 3 triads, and then we can see the 3rd Sefira Binah, which is understanding the divine feminine and form. So now here we have the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life is a diagram containing 10 Sefirot, representing a series of manifestations of the divine, all of them connected by 22 paths. This path shows the way that energy takes from spirit up here down to the physical in Malkuth and back. Now, this path are also correspondent to the cards of the major arcana in tarot. That is a whole different lesson that we can look maybe in the future. On a macroscopic scale, the Tree of Life represents the process of transformation of divine from limitless energy down to the physical manifestation and the evolution back to the divine source. On a microscopic scale, it represents the balance of aspects within a person or situation. The singular word for Sefirot is Sefira, which means counting in Hebrew. The 10 Sefirot are Keter, Binah, Chogma, Gebura, Hesed, Tiferet, Hod, Netzach, Yesod, and Malkuth. So now we're going to go over these 10/11 Sefirot so that we have an idea of what they are, what they do, and then we can have a better understanding on the way that the divisions of the tree work. At any point, if anybody has a question, please feel free to interrupt me. So we're going to start up here at the top with Keter, which is the ground. Keter is the first manifestation. It's pure existence. It's the source. It contains everything that was, is, or will. It is raw divinity without a form. The color to represent Keter is brilliant white. It's associated with the crown chakra and the number 1. Then we move to Chogma, which is wisdom. Chogma is the divine father. It's creativity. It channels the pure energy from Keter into a kind of energy that can be put into use in the form of intellect. The color associated with Hogma is gray, and the chakra is the third eye. It is associated with the number 2. Then we move to Binah, which is understanding. Binah is the divine mother. It's divine femininity. Binah takes the wisdom from Hogma and refines it into specific thoughts and ideas. Without understanding, you cannot use wisdom. It's here in Binah where form first takes place. Binah also gives us our first planetary correspondence as it's associated with Saturn. The color of Binah is black, the chakra is the third eye, and the number is 3. I apologize that the picture that I have on my slides do not match the colors that I'm telling you they are. It's just the pictures wrong. Then we go to Da'at, which is an interesting one. Da'at means knowledge. It is actually a non-Sefira. It's not always present in some graphics of the Tree of Life. So like if you Google Tree of Life, sometimes you may see it, sometimes you may not. This is why sometimes it's referred as the invisible Sefira or the secret Sefira. You can see Da'at as a union of Hogma and Binah, as you need knowledge to understand a concept or situation to make a wise choice. The Da'at is also a gateway or portal to explore other aspects of the tree, like the tree thought, which is the tree of death. The Da'at has no correspondences. Then we move to Hesed, which is mercy. Hesed represents mercy and compassion, as well as inspiration and creativity. It's associated with force and masculinity. Hesed is often referred to as cohesive intelligence or cohesive consciousness because it contains all the energy from the top 3 Sefirot. Hesed is associated with Jupiter, the color blue, the throat chakra, and the number 4. Then we go to Gebura, which is severity. Gebura is the polar opposite of Hesed, and it has the same energy as Binah, but in a lower level. Gebura represents power, strength, and courage. Hesed and Gebura must balance one another in order to preserve order in the universe. While Hesed is limitless, Gebura gives us boundaries needed in order for creation to exist. Gebura is associated with Mars, the color red, the throat chakra as well, and the number 5. Then we're going to move to Tiferet, which is harmony. Tiferet is the Sefira of harmony between the mercy of Hesed and the severity of Gebura. It balances the aggressive and benevolent energy of those 2 Sefirot. Tiferet is the point of transmutation between the planes of force and form. It is considered the heart of the tree, and it represents harmony and balance. Tiferet is associated with the sun, the color yellow, the heart chakra, and the number 6. Then we have Netzach, which is victory. In Netzach, the balanced forces of Tiferet continue on towards manifestation. This energy can be expressed in art, dance, music, poetry. Netzach is dynamic. It inspires and drives us. It represents our desires, emotions, sensual beauty, empathy, and pleasure. Netzach is associated with Venus, the color green, the solar plexus chakra, and the number 7. Then we have Hod, which is glory. Hod symbolizes the intellectual, rational part of our brain, as opposed to the emotions that are represented in Netzach. In Hod, the raw desire and instinct form and become action. Without the emotions of Netzach, the intellect of Hod remains uninspired. Likewise, the emotions of Netzach need discipline and the rationality of Hod. So as you can see, as we're going through this Sefirot, you can see that each one of them feeds from the other. And that's an important theme when we talk about the Qabbalah. It's all about balance. Hod is associated with Mercury, the color orange, the solar plexus chakra, and the number 8. Then we have Yesod, which is foundation. Yesod is the receptacle of the emanation of all the other Sefira above it. It is the last stage before physical manifestation. Yesod balances out the energy of Netzach and Hod, while also channels the energy from Keter to Malkuth. Yesod is the domain of dreams and intuition. It is the invisible world, also known as the astral plane or the spiritual world. Yesod is associated with the moon, the color purple, the sacral chakra, and the number 9. And last but not least, we have Malkuth here in the bottom, which is kingdom. Malkuth is the Sefira of physical manifestation. It is the word that we already know. Everything that is physical, everything that is here, everything that we can see, taste, and touch, that is Malkuth. Malkuth is associated with the planet Earth, the root chakra, and the number 10. This one is the only Sefira that is divided into 4, consisting of 4 colors, and those are citrine, red, olive green, and black. Okay. Now I'm going to touch briefly on the Shekinah or the Shekinah. Deborah had talked about it, and we learned a lot about it in that talk. But I still wanted to bring it into my slides because I'm going from a personal story. While I was learning about the Qabalistic, I never read about the Shekinah. That never came across with me. But when I was studying the lineage of the priestesses that came before me, one of these ladies' names was Shekinah. And I thought, that's an interesting word. I wonder what that means. So I went to look that up because of her, and that's where I learned what it was. And that goes back to this whole Qabbalah being taught by men and perhaps removing some things. So the Shekinah or the Shekinah in the Tree of Life can be understood as that divine feminine presence. It's the inherent aspect of divinity that lives within creation. She is the sacred presence that permeates all things. She's the bridge between the divine realms and humanity. She's holy wisdom. The word in Hebrew means dwell or the one who dwells. In Qabbalah, Shekinah is often associated with Malkuth, but she's not just confined to Malkuth. She moves. Her role is one of strength and power from a feminine perspective. When she's present, it is to bring about equality and to help the world move forward from a male-only image of God. Now we're going to start looking at the way that the tree is divided into 3. The first things that we're going to see are the pillars. So there are 3 pillars in the Tree of Life. Okay, so we have the left pillar, known as the pillar of severity or the pillar of form. This one contains the Sefira of Binah, Geburah, and Hod. It's associated with feminine energy. It embodies the qualities of discipline, restraint, and introspection. On the right side here, we have the pillar of mercy or the pillar of force. This pillar consists of Chokmah, Hesed, and Netzach. It is aligned with masculine energy, and it symbolizes expansion, generosity, and the outward flow of the divine. Each pillar, in the left and the right, has a different lesson when we ascend through them, right? So we're here in Malkuth, and we kind of want to ascend the tree so that we can get together, which is divine everything, the oneness, wholeness. And with the pillar, it's giving us different paths to take to ascend to the tree. The left pillar is more about self-discipline, self-actualization, and enforcement of boundaries between our needs and the needs of others, while the right path emphasizes compassion, service, and putting others before oneself. So, for example, let's say that you are a person that has a hard time saying no to people, or you feel overwhelmed by the needs of everybody else, and you don't pay attention to your own needs. So perhaps you want to start ascending the tree with the pillar of severity. We're going to start hot and then go up from there and explore what kind of lessons this set of Sefira has to teach you. On the other hand, if you are a person that has a hard time feeling empathy for others, or if you're a person that perhaps has put a lot of walls in their heart to protect themselves from pain, then you might want to start with the pillar of mercy and start here in the sack and go up the tree that way. Is there one that is better than the other? No. Both pillars have different lessons, and they're both necessary as we ascend through the tree. Exploring the tree can be seen as exploring ourselves and doing the hard work of bringing ourselves into balance, becoming whole, just like all the Sefira balance each other. Remember how we said the Sefira feed from each other? This is the same thing. So there's another pillar here in the middle, which is the pillar of balance, or the middle pillar. This is the pillar of harmony, consistent of Keter, Tiferet, Yesod, and Malkuth. It represents equilibrium, spiritual alignment, and divine connection. The middle pillar balances the energy of the other two pillars. The Sefira in this pillar expresses the mystery that comes from the union of the Sefira on the left and the right pillar, which means that one must understand the pillar of form and the pillar of force before we walk through the middle pillar. Why? Because we need to understand what is that we're balancing. So while this set of Sefira sound like easy and nice to go, right? We have Malkuth, which is what we know already. We have Yesod, that is ruled by the moon and is the astral realm and the world of dreams, and it sounds nice. You know, we have Tiferet, which is the heart of the tree, and then Keter, which is divine energy and the source. And you may think, well, this may be the easiest path for me to go. We should do that. We should try to really know and become familiar with the lessons from the pillar of form and then the pillar of force before we start walking the middle pillar. Now, on the right here on the screen, I have put a picture of the tarot card, the High Priestess, that I know we all know, which I found really interesting because if you see at this card, you're going to see that she's sitting between two pillars. These are the pillars of form and the pillar of force. Here, you see that the pomegranates on the card are arranged in the same way that the Sefira in the Tree of Life. The High Priestess represents the balance between these opposing forces. She's the bridge. She is the guardian of hidden wisdom and the one who mediates between light and shadow, form and force. Now we can move to a different way that we can look at the tree in divisions of three, and these are the three triads. The triads can be seen as representing a different world. We have the supernal triad, which is where creation happens. We have the ethical triad, where spiritual consciousness is. And then we have the astral triad, which is where subconscious and manifestation happen. By studying the triads, we can get a better understanding of how these words and their Sefira work together as we ascend the tree. Notice that Malkuth does not belong to any triad because Malkuth is this word, right? So we don't have to go to a different word to get to know it. We know Malkuth. This is where we are. So let's start from the bottom. We have the astral triad. This one contains Netzach, Yesod, and Hod. These are the Sefira that we can most easily relate to. The triad represents our passions, our desires, artistic creativity, rational thoughts and ideas. The balancing point of this triad is Yesod here. Yesod is the bridge between the unseen world and the physical. The astral triad is the realm of the collective unconscious, the dream world ruled by the moon and intuition. Then we move, and we have the ethical triad. This triad contains the Sefira of Hesed, Tiferet, and Qubalah. It is said that this is the realm of human emotions, morality, and ethics. This triad represents expansion, generosity, divine love, discipline, and judgment. The balancing point of the triad, here in the middle, is Tiferet, the solar power representing the sun in the center of our solar system. From this point, we can understand the cycles of creation and destruction. The ethical triad shows that both creation and destruction are needed to keep the universe and ourselves in motion, preventing stagnation. It is the interplay of mercy and judgment in our spiritual evolution. Then here at the top, we have the supernal triad. This triad contains the Sefira of Chokmah, Binah, and Keter. These are the most elevated Sefira on the tree. It is the realm of divine thought and creation. When we are in a circle in ritual and we call upon the goddess, the god, and spirit, these are the energies that we're tapping into. This triad represents our divine will, the initial spark of creation, and the shaping of raw energy into form. Notice that this is the only triangle that points upward. And that's because it represents the energy coming down from the source up here, from which the universe emanates. The energy of this supernal trial flows into all the other Sefirot, ultimately going down to the physical manifestation in Malkuth. Okay. Now let's go back to Binah and let's explore her a little bit more. The third Sephira on the tree, like we said, is Binah. She's the energy of the Great Mother, the cosmic goddess. It's in her where life begins and life ends. She's the womb of creation. Binah has a nurturing yet strict energy that guides us in our journey. There are many goddesses associated with Binah. A few examples are Meter, Rhea, Qabalistic, the Virgin Mary, Inanna, the Morrigan, and Isis. These are all goddesses known for their roles in nurturing, fertility, and the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, aligning with Binah nurturing and understanding aspects. As with anything magical, everybody has their own personal connection to Binah and a specific goddess. In my personal gnosis, I associate Binah to Isis because Isis is all things and all things are Isis, right? Isis is the goddess of the 10,000 names. Isis is all goddesses with different names and different faces. So to me, she represents that primordial goddess energy. I would let you find your own connection with Binah and your goddesses. As I mentioned before as well, Binah is ruled by Saturn. This means they both share aspects such as structure, limitation, and discipline. From a goddess perspective, this relationship embodies the archetype of the Great Mother, both as nurturing force and as a figure of necessary restriction and boundary. Saturn is often seen as harsh and limiting, but from a goddess-centered view, this is the wise mother who teaches through discipline. Binah and Saturn together define the boundaries that allow life to flourish, just as a mother teaches her child the rules of survival. Without Saturnian structure, there is only chaos. Without Binah wisdom, there is no ability to learn and grow. And then we have the Dark Mother. Binah as Saturn can be seen as the Dark Mother who enforces us to confront reality, mortality, and the lessons of time. She is the teacher who gives us challenges so that we may learn. She's the weaver of fate, reminding us that all things must eventually come to an end. She's the gatekeeper between life and death, holding the keys to both rebirth and dissolution. She's the dark womb, the space where form comes together. And I wanted to break up this topic that sometimes I feel like people don't feel a lot of connection with Saturn because it may be seen like the Tower card in tarot, where everybody's scared of. But just to me, I think that's a misunderstood card. I think that card brings destruction. That sometimes is necessary to shed what it's been, shed perhaps our version of ourselves, take people away from our life and no longer serve us, so that we can rebirth and re-emerge as a new version, better version of what we're trying to be. Some goddesses associated with this aspect of the Dark Mother would be Kali. She's the devourer and mother who brings both destructions and rebirth. Ereshkigal, who's the ruler of the underworld, where all must descend to be transformed. The Black Madonna, a figure of wisdom, sorrow, and deep sacred mystery. The Fates, who with measure and cut the thread of life, embodying Saturnian inevitability. Now, you may be thinking, this is all great, Selene, but how do we put this practical in our spiritual work? So like with every other type of spiritual work, the way that we want to approach Binah will vary from person to person. But here's some suggestions that you can, if you want to try, to start working with Binah and the tree. You can work with black or deep blue candles to represent silent wisdom and the deep void of Binah. You can meditate on the great cosmic womb, visualizing yourself entering its vast silent wisdom. You can contemplate on the Great Mother archetype. You can craft workings with a team of 3. For example, you can chant a mantra or you can sing a song 3 times. You can do spell working using 3 ingredients, etc. You can work with Saturnian energies such as structure or endurance. You can incorporate dark stones in your rituals such as jet, onyx, and obsidian. Or you can enhance your existing altar of goddesses in the sphere of Binah with Qabalistic correspondences. So for example, if you already work with a goddess that you think it will align with the energies of Binah, then perhaps you put a black altar glow on it, or you put a black or blue candle, or you do a prayer to her 3 times in the week. There's many, many different ways that you can connect yourself with a goddess that you're working already, that you feel like it reflects the energies of Binah. And that is all for me today. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can also find me on, that's my Instagram, and I'm happy to answer any question that you may have. Thank you.
It's at Selene.moon.child.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Selene. This was wonderful. And it's such a rich and layered topic. And you brought it forward and made it so accessible. I have so many notes and so many things to go and study later. And I immediately thought when I was watching your presentation, oh, if, for example, someone wanted to arrange her mandala in this form, what a fascinating exercise that would be in understanding the universal energies. Thank you. Thank you.